Hi guys, so this is my first time recording a tutorial and these are the images I'm going to create. Obviously they are similar, just the camera angle is a bit different. So let's get started. So first of all, I could have modeled this machine by myself, but it would have taken a lot of time. So I went to Sketchpad and I found this cool model by this creator, and after this I imported the model and set up the scene. Actually, I forgot to record when I was setting up the lighting and the volume and the overall layout, but anyway, I will show you the volume setup first. For the sky texture, I have used a plane and projected a cloudy sky texture to it. And here's the setup, very basic. And I have used the same texture as emission to add extra lighting. For the overall lighting, I have used an HDRI which comes with Blender by default. Now let's begin texturing the machine. I have used Cube projection to unwrap and make sure to pack the UVs before exporting. So I am exporting the I'm importing the buckets into Painter and choosing 2K size, and make sure you select OpenGL for normal map preset. I didn't know that Blender uses OpenGL. Now after importing, the first thing you have to do is baking the mesh maps. This is important because it tells Painter about all sorts of info about the model. It is useful for dust, edge wear, and these kinds of details. So here I will export a metal texture from Megascans. Now gonna create a new fill layer and dragging the base color into the base color slot, and similarly the other maps. And I'm going to disable the other maps which I don't need. I'm using the triplanar projection here and then playing with the size of the texture. Now I will add an HSL filter to tweak the color and saturation of the texture. Now I'm going to add another fill layer and using the color, roughness, and metallic maps. Yeah, that's all I'm going to use. This is to create edge wearing effect. Now I will add a black mask and then gonna add a generator over the mask, and in the generator I will choose metal edge wear.
Talk to me, show me all that hurts you deep. Soak my shirt in all your tears, so I can talk with you. Breathe to me, tales of things that haunt.
Here I will create a fill layer again. It's the same process again, using black mask and adding generator. But here I will be using a custom build in grunge map from painter, just to create some dirt and spots.
The cloth wraps on your knees. So darling, when the rain comes crashing in, I'll be right here and listen to you sing. Shout to me what they made you out to be. Burst the glass and start.
One more filler and the same steps. Black mask, then generator, and this time adding dust.
So darling, when you're deafened by the noise, I'll be right here and listen to your voice.
After this, I'm exporting the texture.
Do you remember when you walked away? When all of our embers became ashes of grey. But I've been going tired again and time again. I hope that you will see my heart too. But you don't remember.
Now let's texture the other parts. I'm going to join these two meshes. Let's call it holder.
But there's
Now I'm going to edit. I'm going into edit mode and select the flaps or whatever these are called, and assign a different material. Let's name it holder flaps. Make sure to assign a material and just give them random color, because now we will import them into Painter, and it will recognize this mesh into two separate layers, so it will be easy to texture multiple objects together in just one file.
Do you remember when you said you'd stay? When all of our memories kept us feeling okay. Like I remember you. I've been searching for the right time.
Here again the same process. First bake the mesh and then add the texture using fill layer, then playing with the sliders.
If I can't fix this, I hope you believe that I tried. I've been searching for the right time, but there's never a right time, only a wrong time. And I wish I could just be honest. I don't wanna say goodbye, missing you for a long time. I wish a void opened in the air. Just suck me up, 'cause I really don't care. While I'm falling, I wondered if you would miss me when I'm gone. While I'm falling, I wondered if you would miss me when I am gone. I feel so
Adding a new fill layer, giving it a color, then black mask, then generator and metal edgeware. I'm going to increase the edgeware a lot here because I'm going to paint manually. It's the same like Photoshop, adding a paint layer and then using black and white color to erase and reveal. I'm going to use a custom brush to paint, and also add some jitter to the brush. Here I'm going to repeat the same process, so I will skip this. uh, as you can see how it looks, and now I'm going to export these maps.
Make your name, let go of yesterday. If dreams can exist in a world like this, don't abandon them. You need to embrace all that you are. Stare fear in the face, to reach for the stars. Been waiting for this moment, so let it begin.
And now let's apply the textures to the mesh.
Feeling powerful, nothing's getting in the way. You're unbreakable, you're invincible. Be unbreakable again.
This is how it looks. Okay, now I'm going to fix these black artifacts, and there are a few here too. So I'm isolating this and modeling this whole piece. Here, as you can see, it's fixed. Now let's texture it. I'm using Blender to texture it, using project from view method here, but later I will change the texture, as this texture was too low quality. Then I will texture the other parts with the same material, and just linking the materials by pressing Ctrl L. Most of the machine uses just one single texture.
Show me all that talk with you. Breathe to me tales of things that haunt your dreams. Set the brush and paint the scene so I can breathe with you. The gravel spikes your feet, the cloth wraps on your knees. So darling, when the rain comes crashing in, I'll be right here and listen to you sing.
As you will see here, I will change the texture and using a metal texture from Megascans and using cube projection to all the parts.
Burst the glass and start to scream so I can shout with you. Cry to me rivers that will raise the sea, creeks of pain and apathy, so I can cry with you. The gravel spikes your feet, the glove wraps on your knees. So darling, when you're deafened by the noise, I'll be right here and listen to your voice.
Now here, modeling the base of the machine very quickly and using the same texture and keep projecting it.
So darling, when there's nothing left to say, I'll still be here for you along your way. I'll still be here for you along your way. Do you remember?
Now here I'm going to create this piece here and also the engine. Now gonna make it, not gonna make it detailed, just roughly.
I've been going tired again and time again. I hope that you will see my heart too. But you don't remember me like I remember you. Like I remember you. I've been searching for the right time, but Do you remember when you said you'd stay? When all of our memories kept us feeling okay. Like I remember you. I've been searching for the right time, but there's never a right time.
And here, as you can see, the modeling is done, not much detail, just enough to see. And I use painter to texture it using the same procedure. I'm going to texture all these parts with the same texture and basic cube projection in Blender. Then move on to create the ground. Okay, so let's make the ground in Quixel Mixer. I'm going to create a new surface layer. This is actually quite an easy software. I'm not an expert, but I believe it's not that complicated. Just need to add layers on top of each other and blend them using sliders. So I'm going to create a muddy texture with tire tracks. Just gonna stack textures on top of each other and blend them with sliders. Also going to add a water layer which is inbuilt in Mixer. Now I'm exporting the maps and giving it a path and exporting it in 2K. So here we are back in Blender, going to add material to the plane, and then I will subdivide it a bunch of times. and add a subdivision modifier and also a displace modifier. In the displace modifier, I'm using the height map, which I got from Mixer. Now gonna adjust it a bit. And here's how it looks. Here's a preview render of the progress so far. Looking good. And yeah, happy with the results. Let's move on to making cables and wires now and adding small details. I'm here adding a bunch of cubes by duplicating it. And then select all of them and pressing Shift A and using wire generator. And just ignore the message. Here are the wires. I'm gonna give it some randomness and gravity. Why not? And by using the same technique, I will add a lot of wires to our machine. Here, as you can see, I have added a bunch of wires. And also did some kit bashing too. Now I'm going to make some cloths hanging by using some cloth simulations. So here I am adding a plane and subdividing it a few times, and then select some vertices and make them pins so that the cloth hangs. Then use the force field wind. Here I am deleting some vertices to give this a tone cloth look. Then I'm going to simulate again. When I like a cloth shape, I'm gonna duplicate it and convert it to mesh. In that way, it retains the shape. And with this, I will create a few cloth pieces. Now here I have textured the cloth and I have used this image, nothing complicated. Also I have used the tone fabric alpha to give it a tone cloth look.
Talk to me, show me all that hurts you deep. Soak my shirt in all your tears, so I can talk with you.
Now let's move on, and here I have organized everything into separate collections. Also I have imported and placed this truck model which I downloaded a few years ago. And also this dude I have placed, our construction guy giving the pose. I have added two camera angles. I don't know why. I was just confused, so I just kept both. Now let's render this and jump into Photoshop to do some paint overs. So here's Photoshop. I'm creating a new layer and creating the mountains using the lasso tool and then masking it.
Shout to me what they made you out to be. First class and start to scream.
Then gonna hand paint some cables.
Your feet, the glove rubs on your knees. So darling, when you're deafened by the noise, I'll be right here and listen to your voice.
Now adding some dust, bringing this image in using the blend if option to integrate the dust. Then I'm going to hand paint some extra dust using a custom brush.
Do you remember when you walked away? When all of our
Here I am adding some dirt and mud on the machine by hand painting and using the blend if option to make it blend.
time again, I hope that you will see my heart too.
using the curves to make this part shine less. Here I will add a random text just for some extra detail.
You'd stay when all of our memories kept us feeling okay. Like I remember you. I've been searching for the right time, but there's never a right time, only a wrong time. And I wish I could just be honest. I don't wanna say goodbye. If I can't fix this, I hope you believe that I tried.
Now merging everything into a new layer and converting it to a smart object. I will use the camera raw to edit, and here I will use my own preset which I made for another project called Urban Monastery. You can see the details about this preset here.
I wish a void opened in the air to suck me up, 'cause I really don't care. While I'm falling out,
Let's press OK, and now I will add some chromatic aberration.
miss me when I'm gone.
And it's done. Thank you for watching.